the 14th of September, 2025. In the disputed airspace above the Taiwan Strait, 127 nautical miles northeast of Taipei, the unthinkable was about to happen. America's most lethal air superiority fighter, the F-22A Raptor callsign Venom 1, worth $334 million, and armed with 8 AIM-120D AMRAAM missiles, had been conducting a routine reconnaissance mission when Chinese surface-to-air missiles locked onto its position. The pilot, Colonel Marcus Reaper Thompson, commanded the world's most advanced stealth fighter, invisible to radar, capable of supercruise at Mach 1.8, and equipped with sensors that could track enemies 240 miles away. For 43 minutes, the lone Raptor had been probing Chinese air defenses, gathering electronic intelligence while remaining completely undetected. But at 14:23 hours, when a new Chinese quantum-enhanced radar system achieved the impossible, a solid lock on America's ultimate stealth fighter, 6 minutes of aerial combat would erupt. That would end with the first F-22 loss in combat history. What started as a standard intel gathering mission would trigger the most devastating airstrike in modern warfare, as America's retaliation would erase an entire Chinese airbase from existence. How did they shoot down the invisible fighter? What made the U.S. response so catastrophic? Join me in discovering the truth behind 6 minutes that changed air warfare forever. September 14th, 2025, 13:40 hours. Colonel Marcus Thompson guided his F-22 Raptor through the crystalline air at 45,000 feet, the aircraft's Pratt & Whitney FPW-100 engines producing 35,000 pounds of thrust, each while maintaining complete radio silence. The Raptor's radar cross-section measured just 0.0001 square meters, roughly the size of a marble, making it effectively invisible to conventional radar systems. At $334 million per aircraft, Venom 1 represented the pinnacle of American aerospace engineering, with avionics systems worth more than most countries' entire fighter fleets. Thompson's mission was routine intelligence gathering, probe Chinese air defense networks, map radar positions, and return with electronic signatures that would be analyzed by Air Force intelligence. His radar could detect targets at ranges exceeding 240 miles, while remaining undetectable itself. Thanks to its low probability of intercept technology, the Raptor carried no external weapons or fuel tanks that would compromise its stealth profile, just 8 internal AIM-120D AMRAAM missiles worth $1.8 million each. Unknown to Colonel Thompson, his invisible ghost was about to encounter China's most advanced air defense system. 14:02 hours. Deep inside the Longtian Air Base, 89 miles southwest of Fuzhou, Senior Colonel Wei Shan monitored his revolutionary quantum radar array with growing excitement. The QR-04 quantum detection system represented a $2.8 billion investment in next-generation sensor technology capable of detecting stealth aircraft by measuring quantum fluctuations in the electromagnetic field itself. Unlike conventional radar that could be absorbed or deflected by stealth coatings, quantum detection was theoretically impossible to defeat. Contact bearing 047 degrees, range 180 kilometers, reported Master Sergeant Lu Chen from his console. Signature is consistent with F-22 Raptor. Confidence level 94%. Colonel Wei studied the display with satisfaction. For months, American stealth fighters had penetrated Chinese airspace with impunity, gathering intelligence while remaining completely invisible to conventional radar. Today, that technological advantage would end. If you were commanding the Chinese air defense, would you engage immediately or gather more intelligence? Tell me in the comments. For the next 18 minutes, the quantum radar array tracked the American stealth fighter with unprecedented precision, building a complete tactical picture of its capabilities and flight patterns. The Long Tian Air Base bristled with China's most advanced air defense systems. HQ-9B surface-to-air missiles with a range of 200 kilometers, HQ-22 medium-range interceptors, and the revolutionary HQ-19 anti-stealth missile specifically designed to engage low-observable targets. The base's defensive umbrella extended 250 kilometers in all directions, protected by overlapping radar coverage and electronic warfare systems, worth $4.7 billion. 14:20 hours. Colonel Thompson's threat warning system remained silent as he continued his reconnaissance pattern. The F-22's AN sensor suite, capable of detecting enemy radar emissions at ranges exceeding 460 kilometers, showed no hostile tracking attempts. From Thompson's perspective, his mission was proceeding flawlessly. The Chinese appeared completely unaware of his presence, but appearances were deceiving. At Long Tian Air Base, Colonel Wei was coordinating the most sophisticated anti-stealth engagement in military history. Fire control. This is base commander, Wei transmitted. Authorize HQ-19 engagement. Single missile. Proximity fuse. Target is confirmed F-22 Raptor at range 165 kilometers. The HQ-19 was China's answer to American stealth technology, a $12 million surface-to-air missile equipped with millimeter-wave radar and infrared sensors, specifically designed to track low observable aircraft. Its 180-pound warhead could destroy any fighter within a 300-meter radius. 14-23 hours. The missile erupted from its launcher in a pillar of flame and smoke, accelerating to Mach 4.2 as it climbed toward the unsuspecting American fighter. For Colonel Thompson, the first indication of trouble came when his RWR display suddenly illuminated with multiple threat warnings. Multiple SAM launches bearing 225. Thompson reported to his controller. Going defensive. The F-22's sophisticated electronic countermeasures activated automatically, flooding the electromagnetic spectrum with jamming signals while dispensing chaff and flares. But the HQ-19's multimode seeker was designed to penetrate exactly these defenses. Before you discover what happens next, please support us by liking and subscribing to the channel. 14-24 hours. Colonel Thompson threw his Raptor into a diving left turn. The aircraft's thrust vectoring nozzles redirecting engine exhaust to achieve impossible angles of attack. G-forces pressed him deep into his ejection seat as the fighter pulled 9 Gs in a desperate evasive maneuver. The F-22's supercruise capability allowed it to maintain supersonic speed without afterburner, crucial for avoiding the infrared signature that heat-seeking missiles could track. But the HQ-19 was no ordinary surface-to-air missile. Its advanced guidance system combined radar tracking with infrared detection and a backup millimeter-wave seeker that could distinguish stealth aircraft from decoys. As the missile approached its target, sophisticated algorithms analyzed the F-22's unique flight characteristics and predicted its evasive maneuvers. Venom 1, this is Overlord Control, came the transmission from the E-3 Sentry AWACS aircraft monitoring the mission. We show multiple SAM launches in your area. Recommend immediate egress to friendly airspace. Thompson's response was professional despite the mortal danger. Overlord, Venom 1. Multiple threats inbound. Executing defensive maneuvers. May require immediate assistance. 14-25 hours. The HQ-19 missile was now just 8 kilometers from its target, closing at a combined speed of over Mach 6. Thompson deployed every countermeasure in his arsenal, more chaff, more flares, and radical flight path changes that pushed his aircraft to its structural limits. The Raptor's advanced flight control system kept the fighter controllable, even as it approached stall conditions in its desperate attempt to evade the incoming missile. The missile's proximity fuse activated at 180 meters, detonating its warhead in a sphere of superheated metal fragments traveling at hypersonic velocities. The explosion occurred slightly behind and below the F-22, but the blast effect was devastating. Shrapnel shredded the Raptor's left engine, severed hydraulic lines, and punctured fuel tanks throughout the aircraft. Thompson felt the fighter shudder as fragments tore through its structure. Warning lights flooded his cockpit display as multiple systems failed simultaneously.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. Venom 1 is hit, going down.
Attempting emergency landing, but there would be no landing. The F-22's fuel was streaming from punctured tanks, creating a vapor cloud that ignited when it contacted the damaged engine. In seconds, America's most advanced fighter became a falling fireball. 14-26 hours. Colonel Thompson ejected at 28,000 feet as his $334 million fighter disintegrated around him. His Martin Baker Aces II ejection seat fired him clear of the wreckage just before the main fuel tanks exploded, creating a debris field visible for 50 miles. The first F-22 Raptor lost in combat plummeted into the Taiwan Strait, taking with it not just advanced technology, but America's aura of air superiority, invincibility. 14-45 hours. In the Pentagon's National Military Command Center, General Patricia Hayes received the flash message that would trigger the most devastating conventional airstrike since Operation Desert Storm. The loss of an F-22 Raptor was not just a tactical defeat, it was a strategic catastrophe that demanded immediate and overwhelming retaliation. General Hayes reported to Defense Secretary Robert Chen via secure video link, "We have confirmed loss of an F-22 Raptor in international airspace. Pilot ejected safely and is in the water awaiting rescue. Chinese forces engaged without provocation, using previously unknown anti-stealth technology. The response was swift and unequivocal.
Execute option Bravos Brash-7.
Eliminate the air defense system responsible and send a clear message about the consequences of engaging American aircraft."
Option Bravo 7 was the Pentagon's pre-planned response to the loss of strategic aircraft, a massive conventional strike designed to obliterate the responsible enemy installation while demonstrating American military superiority. 14:52 hours. At Andersen Air Force Base in Guam, Klaxons wailed as the most powerful conventional strike package in military history prepared for launch. 6 B-2 Air Spirit stealth bombers, each worth $2.1 billion and carrying 40,000 pounds of precision-guided munitions, began their engines. The total firepower of this single strike, 240,000 pounds of GPS-guided bombs worth $47 million, would deliver more explosive power than was dropped on Hiroshima. Supporting the B-2 second were 12 F-35 AMP Lightning II fighters carrying AGM-158 JASSM cruise missiles, 4 EA-18-gram Growler electronic attack aircraft, and 2 KC-135 Stratotanker refueling aircraft. The combined cost of aircraft and weapons exceeded $15 billion, the most expensive single airstrike in military history. Would you authorize such a massive retaliation for the loss of a single fighter? Let me know in the comments. 16:30 hours. Flight Leader Colonel Rodriguez commanded the lead B-2 as the strike package approached Chinese airspace at 50,000 feet. Each Spirit bomber was invisible to radar, its revolutionary design and radar-absorbent materials making it appear no larger than a bird on enemy screen. The bomber's APQ-181 synthetic aperture radar could map targets with 1-meter resolution from hundreds of miles away while remaining completely undetectable. Package lead, this is Wraith 1. Rodriguez transmitted on encrypted channels. Target area in sight. Beginning attack run. The Long Tian Air Base spread below them like a military ant farm, runways, hangars, command facilities, and the quantum radar array that had achieved the impossible by detecting an F-22 Raptor. Within minutes, $4.7 billion worth of Chinese military infrastructure would cease to exist. Each B-2 carried a precisely planned weapons load. GBU-31 JDAM bombs for hardened structures, GBU-32 JDAMs for aircraft hangars, and specialized GBU-28 bunker buster bombs for underground command facilities. The strike was designed not just to destroy the base, but to obliterate every trace of the quantum radar technology that had shot down the American fighter. 16:34 hours. Colonel Wei watched his radar screens with growing alarm as multiple contacts appeared at the edge of his detection range. The quantum array that had successfully tracked the F-22 was now painting a terrifying picture. 6 large stealth bombers approaching his base with obvious hostile intent. All units. Wei broadcast on the base emergency frequency. Incoming airstrike. Multiple stealth bombers inbound. All personnel to hardened shelters immediately, but it was too late. The American retaliation was already in motion, and no air defense system on Earth could stop 6 B-2 Spirit bombers executing a coordinated precision strike. 16:35 hours. The first bomb bay doors opened with hydraulic precision as Wraith 1 began its attack run. 2 GBU-28 bunker busters dropped toward the base's underground command center. Their 4,400-pound warheads designed to penetrate 100 feet of concrete before detonating. Behind them fell 4 GBU-31 JDAMs, targeting the quantum radar array itself, the revolutionary technology that had made the F-22 shootdown possible. The remaining 5 B-2s released their weapons in carefully timed sequence, creating a symphony of destruction that would erase Long Tian Air Base from existence. GPS guidance systems steered each bomb to within 3 meters of its intended target, ensuring maximum destructive effect while minimizing collateral damage to surrounding areas. 16:36 hours. The first explosions lit up the night sky as 40,000 pounds of high explosive detonated across the Chinese airbase in a carefully choreographed sequence of destruction. The GBU-28 bunker busters struck the underground command center first, their shaped charge warheads penetrating deep into the earth before exploding with the force of a small earthquake. Colonel Wei and his staff had just enough time to seal themselves in the hardened command bunker before the bunker busters arrived. The explosions above them felt like the end of the world, concrete dust falling like snow as the reinforced ceiling cracked under the immense pressure waves. The quantum radar array, China's $2.8 billion investment in next-generation sensor technology, vanished in a series of precision strikes that left nothing but smoking craters where the revolutionary equipment had stood. Each antenna array, each processing center, each power generation facility was individually targeted and obliterated by GPS-guided munitions. 37 hours. The main runway disappeared under a barrage of GBU-31 JDAM bombs, each 2,000-pound warhead creating craters 40 feet across and 15 feet deep. The parallel taxiways suffered the same fate as American bombs, methodically destroyed every surface capable of supporting aircraft operations. Aircraft hangars erupted in fireballs as GBU-32 bombs penetrated their roofs and detonated inside, destroying 24 Chinese fighters worth $1.2 billion, J-20 stealth fighters, J-16 multi-role aircraft, and J-10C interceptors were reduced to twisted wreckage by explosions that generated temperatures exceeding 3,000 degrees Celsius. The base's fuel storage facilities created secondary explosions that could be seen from orbit as millions of gallons of aviation fuel ignited in massive fireballs. The electromagnetic pulse from the explosions temporarily disrupted communications across 3 provinces, 1638 hours. Support facilities throughout the base, maintenance hangars, operations centers, personnel quarters, and vehicle parks vanished under the relentless bombardment. American precision had turned a functioning military installation into a moonscape of overlapping craters and burning debris. The base's surface-to-air missile sites, the very weapons that had successfully engaged the F-22 Raptor, were systematically obliterated by direct hits from 2,000-pound bombs. HQ-9B launchers, HQ-22 systems, and the revolutionary HQ-19 anti-stealth missiles were reduced to scrap metal by explosions that left craters where million-dollar weapons systems had stood. 1640 hours. As the last explosions echoed across the devastated landscape, the Long Tian airbase had ceased to exist as a functioning military installation. 6 B-2 Spirit bombers had delivered more destruction in 4 minutes than most air forces could achieve in months of operations. The precision and overwhelming firepower demonstrated American military superiority in terms that no potential adversary could misunderstand. Colonel Wei emerged from his damaged command bunker to survey a scene of absolute devastation. Of the 127 aircraft that had been based at Long Tian that morning, none remained operational. The quantum radar system that had achieved the impossible by tracking an F-22 Raptor was now scattered atoms drifting on the wind. The human cost was remarkably light. Advance warning had allowed most personnel to reach hardened shelters, limiting casualties to 37 killed and 92 wounded. But the technological and strategic costs were catastrophic. China had lost $4.7 billion in military infrastructure and, more importantly, the revolutionary quantum detection technology that had briefly leveled the stealth playing field. 1,700 hours, the 6 B-2 bombers completed their egress from Chinese airspace without incident, their stealth characteristics making them as invisible during withdrawal as they had been during the approach. The strike package returned to Andersen Air Force Base, having expended $47 million in precision munitions to destroy over $4.7 billion in enemy military assets, a cost-exchange ratio that demonstrated the devastating effectiveness of modern precision warfare. Emergency sessions convened in both Washington and Beijing, as news of the strike spread through military and diplomatic channels. For China, the obliteration of Longtian Air Base was a humiliating demonstration of American conventional superiority and the futility of challenging U.S. air power directly. The destruction of Longtian Air Base sent shockwaves through military establishments worldwide. In 6 minutes of precision bombing, the United States had demonstrated that even the most advanced air defense systems were vulnerable to determined American retaliation. The message was clear. Shooting down American aircraft would result in overwhelming conventional response that no enemy installation could survive. Intelligence analysis of the engagement revealed disturbing technological developments on both sides. China's quantum radar had successfully defeated American stealth technology for the first time, proving that the era of invisible aircraft might be ending. However, the complete destruction of the quantum array demonstrated that revolutionary technology meant nothing without the infrastructure and expertise to employ it effectively. For the families of the 37 Chinese military personnel killed in the strike, the engagement was a tragic reminder of the human cost of great power competition. Their sacrifice would not be forgotten, but it served as a stark warning about the consequences of escalating technological rivalry into actual warfare. The Taiwan Strait returned to its tense calm, but the balance of power in the Pacific had shifted once again. China had proven it could detect and engage American stealth aircraft, but the United States had responded with such overwhelming force that the net result was a reinforcement of American military dominance. Colonel Thompson was rescued by U.S. Navy helicopters and returned safely to American custody. His ejection and survival a small bright spot in an engagement that had cost hundreds of millions in aircraft and infrastructure. His F-22 Raptor, the first lost in combat, would be remembered as the aircraft whose destruction triggered the most devastating conventional airstrike in modern military history. If you found this analysis compelling, don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth military coverage. Like this video to support the channel and share it so more people can understand the truth behind the headlines. The future of air warfare has arrived, and it's more dangerous than anyone imagined.